Hi, this is Mark. There are a lot of reasons to get angry these days, but I prefer to focus on the positive things that we each can do to make this world a better place. The book Building a Better World in Your Backyard, Instead of Being Angry at Bad Guys, is a great resource for just that. Instead of throwing my arms up in frustration at governments or big corporations, there's a list of ideas that we each can tackle to affect change. Information about this book and other resources can be found at permies.com.
Oh, cool.
All right, it's counting down. So here we are. So we're gonna walk up to the caldera, and we're gonna record some stuff along the way, and then, but so what is this? This is September. This is like the middle of September, and so I want to talk about all the gardens and all the things I'm growing, and there's lots and lots and lots, but I kind of feel like it's rare that I see rhubarb being this happy this time of year, but I don't think we're going to hit like enough food this year for everybody, to feed everybody 100%. But I think we're going to definitely growing enough food that we could easily feed 2 people. But, we're probably going to get to the point this year where we're feeding half of the food that people need that are here. And it's like we've been focusing more on building soil than on growing food, but some of these things are perennial. Plus, the other thing is that apple tree back there. I don't know if you saw it. The one that started from seed and it's gotten so giant, it put out like 20 pounds of apples this year. But all right, so I'm here with Katie, who normally is far away.
Yes, I'm in Hawaii sometimes.
Yeah, but today we're going to talk about, because I said, so you rented the red cabin, which seems to be the cabin that everybody wants. Oh, and you fired up the rocket mass heater. Oh, it's not that cold right now. I mean, we haven't even had a real hard frost yet.
Well, it's not cold for you.
Oh, right. Oh, good point. People who are from Hawaii, this is like brutally cold.
Oh, yeah. When you get down to 68, everybody gets out their cocoa and their slippers. Like, it's cold. Well, depends where you are in Hawaii, of course.
Long ago, I worked a contract in San Diego, which started like January 2nd. And then the group I was working with, and it got to be lunchtime, they said, let's all go out for lunch. And the temperature outside was 70 degrees on January 2nd. It was just normal for San Diego. And then I just stood up and was prepared to follow them to wherever they're going. And they all needed to take a moment in order to put on their jackets.
Yeah, man, it's cold.
Yeah, 70. That's just...
Oh, it's getting a little nippy.
So yeah, you're right. I guess I just live a different way. But so one of the things is that we're attempting to do theme weeks, which seems to not be of interest to really anybody. I thought we would fill all the cabins. And I kind of feel like another thing is that we have, we're walking up to the caldera, I should say, because... yeah. So, but I'll try to walk slower, so I'm not like, trying to hack up a gob into the ear of the pod people. But I've been here 11 years, and all of our designs are for like having, 40 people that are year-round residents. And we kind of started off with the whole theme of like, in order to grow permaculture gardens, that is a perennial system. And so we need perennial people. And so we need to have warm bunks. So you can't have perennial people without warm bunks. So we focused on rocket mass heaters, natural building those warm bunks. What do you think? You want to try this?
Yeah.
So, beautiful. I don't know, we have like 33 log benches on the property, which I think is another thing too, is that, when people come here, one of the things I say is like, oh, it'll probably be 7 more years until this becomes a permaculture theme park, but boy, we're really kind of getting close. I feel like beauty, there's a fair bit of beauty around in the things that we've built. I mean, there's also a fair bit of comedy that we're working on, but I don't know, there's a fair bit of beauty. But you're staying in the red cabin.
Yes.
And I believe we got it. I mean, we got a rocket mass heater put in there about 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. That is our 5th rocket mass heater that goes in there. And then we've slowly done more upgrades and things like that. And as you're staying in there, Mud made an upgrade there. I put a big cob hat in there a few months ago, and now it needs to get some finished cob layers, which we're going to do as a theme week here in a few weeks, for which nobody has signed up. And I was kind of thinking, like, okay, here's what's going to happen. We're going to put the theme week out there. We're going to have all these rocket projects. We're going to get, like, packed. All the cabins will be rented. Everybody's learning about rocket mass heater stuff. And then I think, it'll be a good time to talk about, like, when's going to be our next jamboree. But I don't know. Now I'm kind of thinking, like, interest has, dropped to a hard 0? And so it's hard to put all the work into even talking about a jamboree when people aren't coming out for this. But all right, the key is that I think as you're in there, it does look interesting.
It does. Oh, it looks great. Oh, I'm excited about it. I love the hat. The hat is great, and there's also a port. Tell me what it's called that you prime it with.
I think port is good. The vertical exhaust port.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we need a sign in there. We're going to work on that during Rocket Week. But the sign is going to be for cold starts, and it's going to say, okay, you need a prime the vertical exhaust and then triple prime the riser. And so I kind of feel like it's not bad. It's interesting, and we've got some ideas for optimizing that. And apparently yesterday Stephen whipped up an optimization for you. So he's got like a gob of sawdust and wax, and it's like, stick this on the thing in the port and set it on fire, and then put the cork back on it, and that'll prime the vertical exhaust. And it's like, and he and I were just talking about that a few days ago, and wow, he did it. That's amazing. So, oh wow, look at all the gardens from up here. There's a lot of very happy sunchokes. I don't know, we got a lot of, our gardens here are doing really, really good this year. We're going to pump out a lot of food. But, all right, you're staying in the red cabin, and there's a lot of cabins that are empty right now.
It's true.
But also, you didn't come to be part of a theme week, even though right now they're doing Harvest Week. So there's like, I don't know, 6 people out there doing Harvest Week right now. And, but, okay. You said something about how the red cabin, which is probably the most sought after cabin because it's close to everything.
Has the Wi-Fi. I like the Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but yes, it does have Wi-Fi. And then I think that the rocket mass heater in there now is not only is it dialed in, but I think that the changes that were made this summer, I'm excited to get it thoroughly tested this winter to see how it does. I think it's going to do really great, but I want to wait till it gets really cold to do a great test of it. But you were saying something about how it's too cheap, like the prices should be higher. And you started off by saying like a hotel room today is going to be $150 per night.
A lot of them.
And the red cabin, I think right now it's $250 for I think a week. I think.
Yeah. This is super good price. That's way too good of a price.
Well, I feel like the price is it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, I want the price to be low so that they all fill up. And then we've got all these people here learning permaculture stuff, or at least our flavor of permaculture stuff. And maybe some people will be like, I want to stay here forever. And we'll, build our community. But at the same time, I don't want the price to be so low that people are kind of like, I just want a place to stay and get out of my way. And I don't care about this, and I heard about your rules, and I'm going to ignore them all because I don't care about permaculture, and I don't care about your standards and all that. So I kind of feel like, I don't know, I can't make the prices any lower, and I don't feel like I can make them higher either. The idea of, but the thing is, if you go to a hotel room, you'll have a bathroom that's part of the hotel room, whereas with the Red Cabin, then you're going to walk.
It's not far away. It's an outdoor. It's a little bit of a hike, but it's a tiny hike. It's just very outdoorsy in that moment, which can be lovely when the stars are out and this air is crisp and it's beautiful here. But then it also can be pouring, and also you might have to go right now.
Yes. And I think it kind of opens up this whole area of like guys versus gals. And there was a gal who said a thing that I found to be really fascinating. And she's like, whatever I'm doing, especially if it's dark outside, I need 4 real walls. I don't, it's like during the day it's not as extreme, but it's kind of like the sensation of the unknown coming to bite my bare butt when I'm out there. And it's like, so now she's going to make the hike, and she stayed in the Red Cabin, and she made the hike over to Willow Bank, which I think is now easier with Mike's stairs. Have you used Mike's stairs?
Yes, yeah, they're great.
They look like Lincoln Logs.
They do, don't they? So they're rock solid and amazing and terrific, and they're now over a year old, and they're still like, oh, these are going to last 20 years or better.
Very solid. Yeah. They're great. I like to look at them.
And so that kind of made Willow Bank a little closer.
It did.
Yeah.
I can see people starting there, like especially if all you're used to is peeing in a normal bathroom indoors, that it might be kind of a road where you go slowly along the road, getting comfortable with it, backing up a little, getting more comfortable. But if you come here and the only option you have is going outside, then you might feel like, I'm not ready for jumping that far along the road. But you can stay in the Fisher-Price house.
Yeah.
So that's the first time we came here. We had a young one who was pretty young, 5, and we weren't sure what that was going to be like. So we did stay in the Fisher-Price house.
Yeah.
And that made it easier. It made it the road. I could take littler steps along that road.
Yeah. So there's I don't know, different schools. So all I'm saying is that, yeah, compared to renting a hotel room, then yeah. And I kind of, as part of it, I've always kind of had this thought that we get all these cabins set up, and that the boot camp would fill up, and the SEPR program would fill up, so cabin rentals will fill up, and then we'll have a bunch of Deep Roots people, and we'll have this community here. And as part of it, I always kind of thought that there would be an Evelyn here, and I think I've talked about the Evelyn role in the podcast before. And so it's good to have Katie here because she's listened to so many podcasts. Like most is what I heard you say earlier today, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was like most is like maybe 4 short of all.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe, there's a lot of podcasts. Maybe 20 short of all, but most all.
But you've been chipping away at them for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, at least for like 10 years.
Yeah. Okay. So, I kind of, and the funny thing is that while the people that have come out that have been really great at the role, they were kind of like, either they got a better offer somewhere else. Like they were only here for a week, so they never really got it going. and they were kind of still getting the lay of the land. But they seemed like that they got it, they understood, it was logical and reasonable, they're going to do it. Or another one is that I remember somebody who came and they started to upgrade all the structures, and they worked very hard, and they got very involved in everything, and then they just, after 4 months, decided, I'm going to go do something else. And it's like, oh God. So there was delightful, lovely, terrific people, but I don't know, we just maybe we weren't cool enough then, and I think we've got, I think we've kind of doubled our coolness in the last 5 years or so.
Yeah, I was last here in 2019. It is so cool. I thought it was a permaculture Disneyland before then. Like at that point, I was like, there are 15 awesome things I want to learn more about and see with my own eyes. But now it's double that, and there's things I haven't even seen yet. I can't wait to see them.
Oh, right. Have you seen the greenhouse?
I haven't been to the lab yet. I haven't had time.
Oh, so all the new things up there. We've done a lot of stuff at Allerton Abbey, and the gardens at Allerton Abbey are starting to come online and be very productive. I don't know. There's still more work to be done there, and I know that we're having a conversation about changing the way that. So we used to have a thing called the BRK, the Biological Reverse Kickstarter, which was an idea that got created, I don't know, during a podcast. It was just an idea, a discussion kind of erupted. And then I thought it was a great idea, so that guy did it. And then it got handed off, and then we kind of learned. So the design of it was that a boot would come and post 3 pictures a day for 100 days, and then this list of people, like, I don't know, 25 people, would all send in $10 or $20 or something like that to the boot that accomplished that. And then what happened is that the boot would go and do all the work, and the boot, you do the math, and it says, okay, boot, you're going to get $2,500 for doing 100 posts. And the boot's like, yay! And they hit the 100 posts, and then they get something closer to $800. And granted, there were several times that boots, got $2,000, $3,000, and all was good. But people just didn't send the money in. People, I don't know. I think it was an obligation as poison. Like at one point they said, yeah, I'll put in $20. And then when the time came, they did it the first couple of times, and on the third time they're like, I'll get to it later. And then they just never did. That's my guess. Like I don't know, something, and that's how it turned out. So I had a long talk with Bo, and Bo adopted the BRK, and he renamed it to the BEL. So the Boot Camp Experience Log. And with the BEL, the way the funds are managed is different. So Bo collects the funds, and then however much he collects, then when a boot rings the bell, he does a 10% payout of whatever's left. So now it's infinite. So if a person wants to put in $20 every time, they can. But if they want to put in like $100 once, they can do that. Or maybe just, $100 once a year or something like that. So I'll be visiting with Bo. He's already transformed it, and it's doing it now. And Stephen rang the bell once and got that 10%. So the system is set up and it's running. I don't know. Someone was saying, why would I want to put money into that? And it's like, and my thought was, well, for me, I haven't put money into it, but for me, I can see all the stuff that's going on every day and be able to visit with everybody about all the things because I can see pictures of it. It's been handy for me. But of course the idea is that people then live vicariously through the boots, doing all the things that maybe they cannot do. But more than that, I kind of feel like, world domination stuff. So if we can get to the point that we have progress, if we can improve our forward velocity with the boot camp and with SEPers coming out here and stuff like that, we get more projects done, which is more YouTube videos, more podcasts, more everything. But on top of that, it's like I really, really want to do my experiments in community, and but I need more people. So we need more people for the experiments in community. We need more people for completing the projects and more people for just, making us people could live vicariously from something, as opposed to like things are slower when there's fewer people here. But I made a leap. 11 years ago, I suppose I could have bought just a handful of acres and to do my projects by myself, but instead I decided to take a bigger leap, and so here we are in this thing where I took a bigger leap, and it's coming along, but I don't know, I suppose in a way people have voted that my stuff sucks.
I don't think that's it. I think there are lots of people who think your stuff is really cool and amazing, and that's why they follow and want to know more and participate in Permies.com and listen to all these things. I think it's, in my personal opinion, I think it's very hard to be part of the systems that we have now. Especially as an American, there are established sort of systems, like you go to work, you have the normal routines that you have, and it's really hard to break free from that. You maybe only have a couple of weeks vacation a year, and you have some life projects you kind of have to do during some of that time, or people you really need to visit. They're part of your family or your community that you're really close to. And so to take yourself out of that system that feeds into your life and pull yourself over here, which has a hard time feeding into, how do I explain it? It doesn't work on those same systems because it's solving problems that require new, better systems, which I think is absolutely the answer, that a lot of the systems we have are not working properly anymore in normal American culture. And I think what's so wonderful about this is it's creating experiments to find the best and healthiest new systems. But that means that the systems are separate. And so if you're all feeding into and being fed from the standard American systems, it is very hard to pull yourself out of that and get yourself into this system without completely breaking ties with everything. So people who are at a natural junction in their lives where they have sort of been broken or purposefully broken out of the normal, I would say, sort of a treadmill that you sort of get born on, like you're going to go to school, you're going to go to college, you're going to get a job or a trade or whatever it is, get married, get a house, get a mortgage, pay it off, retire, die. Like there's a whole treadmill that is the standard way that everyone sort of talks about, whether or not that really happens to people. But you sort of get born in that. And so if you get knocked out of it for some reason, you start to be like, this treadmill was terrible. Like, what else is there? How can I get from here to there? And it can be hard to get from here to there. And then people who do are in a very transitional phase, and they're trying to figure everything out. And it's kind of that transitional period. There's a lot to explore and understand, and it takes time. And this system is still being built. So it doesn't necessarily have like a homeschool or like a cafe, like the systems that people might rely on in their daily lives. They might be like, that's not here, so then I would have to get that from the old systems. But I can't do that because it's not really allowed, and it's very challenging. Even finding restaurants that serve organic, you're like, okay, I'm just going to drive the time it takes to get to the city, and I'm going to get a city organic restaurant every day. Like, that's not super practical. And it's very challenging and a bit expensive. So there's a bunch of challenges for having these systems be separate. But I wouldn't take these systems and mess them up by pulling the old bad systems into them. So it's a difficult problem. I think it needs solutions.
No, I think you really hit a magic spot right there with the whole thing of like if you don't have an on-site cafe that a lot of people are going to be kind of like, how do I live? I mean, they could be into gardening, they could be into cooking, all that stuff, but they don't want to be into gardening and cooking all the time. But then when the only other options are non-organic, and people have done this for the whole time I've been here. They go to restaurants that are not too far away and that are non-organic. They're probably the least organic, and it's like they eat there and they do that. But it also kind of seems like I don't know. Now that I think about it, it's kind of like when there were people here that would cook for the group more, like even just a few times a week, then it did seem like the population would grow more. But then when it's like, okay, now you got to cook for yourself, then it's kind of like, now, granted, when we have events, of course, we always have a cook. But when you got to cook for yourself, living here is different. And it's like, I think a lot of people are like, I'm tired of cooking for myself every day. And granted, you could do leftovers, but, at some point in time, I think people want a higher quality life than that. Like, what is the most... And I think that I think it can happen when we have more people here. I'm not exactly sure what that might turn out to be, but I'm kind of thinking like, okay, we've built a lot of warm bunks with rocket mass heaters. I found out recently that we have 41 rockety contraptions that we've built here.
That's so cool. I want to see them all.
And of course, each one has its story. And then there's, there's so many different cabins and bunks and things like that. We are ready to build our population, and now we've kind of shifted a lot of our focus into more of a horticultural phase, and so our food systems are growing quickly and coming online, and especially a lot of perennials, which is, permaculture is very much about the perennials. I have forbidden chickens until we can have 4 paddocks that grow food for the chickens in it. And while people just stamp their feet and demand and insist and require, they kind of seem to want somebody else to do it. And even when people are here and they're stamping their feet and it's like, it has to happen, they get distracted by projects that are simpler, and they want to go do that instead. And it's like, I thought you wanted to do the chicken thing. Oh, I do. And then stories, comedies, etc. And so there is a paddock that's been in the making for 7 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, it still isn't done. And when people bring it, I mean, I don't want to just have a coop and run. And I mean, like, granted, that's a way, but I kind of feel like that's not particularly kind to the chickens. And and on top of that, if you leave chickens in that, because I'm thinking like we could take the paddock that we have now, the one paddock we have, and we leave chickens in there 24/7, they're going to eat the food that I'm growing.
Yep.
Whereas if you've got 4 paddocks, then I can harvest from a paddock before the chickens get moved in there. And then the chickens go in there and they eat mostly the bugs and then a little bit of this and that, and it's all good. So, all right. I guess the key to this podcast is that you were saying that the price here is too low.
Yeah, that's too cheap. Way too cheap.
And I think that the laws of supply and demand say I can't make the price higher.
Well, it's true. Well, I would kind of imagine like $50 a day being a minimum. But you're right, you're going to get people who can't do that. But maybe you could have a range of them. Maybe there could be cabins that do have a bathroom, some kind of basic bathrooming facilities. Maybe maybe for only number ones, maybe only for pee, and washing your hands off if you get them sticky, like the basic, and then maybe like a basic menu. Like you have the more deluxe one for people who this is their vacation. They're once a year, they're going to go to permaculture Disneyland, and they want to use the willow feeder, and they want to eat completely organic or better, and they want to get into all these projects and see for themselves and light up a rocket mass heater and watch it work, and all these really cool things. And
Cooper Cabin currently has an indoor willow feeder, so you can poop and pee indoors there.
Yeah, but it has bunks. I do want to have my own privacy, and I don't want to I want to rent the entire Cooper Cabin. I feel like a jerk. Like I'm taking all these bunks. I don't even need those bunks.
It's got a full kitchen, and it's got, now granted, the water isn't exactly running in, but the water is running out.
That's enough. That's enough. Because sometimes I just need sort of the baby steps version, the deluxe version, so that I can take my time walking along that road at the pace that feels right for me. Because I love those ideas. I want to do them. Logistically, I'm not always sure how to accomplish it, and I might not have the time and energy to do a new thing at that moment. Or I'm not sure that I am, before I come out. So that would help a lot if there was some more luxurious ones for the people who do have the funds and they just I'm going to go out there, it's going to take like a full day of travel there. Gotta catch my breath.
Oh, am I going too fast?
No, I thought you're good.
Okay, all right, I'm slowing down a little bit.
I'm getting too excited.
Okay.
A full day of travel there and a full day of travel back. So I got to make at least a few days in the middle that are really relaxing and really interesting and really, if I'm worried, just me, but if I'm worried about how am I gonna pee and wash my hands and get enough food, and if I have someone coming with me, like a kid or a parent, and they're not quite as on board, they'll be on board, but it scares them sometimes. I don't know if it's the right word, but it's intimidating for them to do these things that they've never even heard of because they haven't walked along that road at all yet. Then it's easier for me if there's an easy path, an easy mode. Put the setting on easy and play this game. It's a wonderful thing. And I think there's a load of people who would like to just have the bunk and would much rather do that and talk with the people that they're bunking with and get to know them. That's an asset for a lot of people. But other people, they need solitude. They need to retreat. Maybe more of an introvert kind of a thing, but you want to have the people time and the not people time. And you don't want the people in your not people time.
So, okay, I understand everything you said. I think that we're kind of there a little bit. So when you were here 5 years ago, you did rent all of the bunk room in the Fisher-Price house.
I did. There were 3 of us, so I felt better because there's only 4 bunks. So 3 out of 4 is okay. And I didn't feel like I could do it without that. So it was the only way.
So then you had all the food was cooked for you.
Yes.
And then, because you were here for a whole month, right? For the summer events.
Yeah, the PTC and the PTJ and whatever was in between, something like that. I have to look it up, but that's, it was a while. It was great.
Right. And so you had a normal bathroom, which we have in the Fisher-Price house, and so everything worked exactly as expected.
Yes.
And you didn't have to worry about heat because it was summer.
That's true. Although we did get to light up rocket mass heaters anyway. That was fun. You can still do that if you come in the summer.
Okay. So I know that over the years it's been okay, we don't have enough people here yet because we don't have water on the lab. Then we got water on the lab and then nothing changed. Okay, we don't have enough people here yet because our garden systems at base camp are weak because we don't have enough water there. So we got a new well at base camp that provides infinite water. And it's so now this will change everything. Didn't change anything. And it's kind of okay, well, people don't understand our values because listening to 600 podcasts is too much. And, okay, so we wrote the Better World book. And writing the Better World book, we thought, okay, this will be the time. Now it'll change everything. Didn't change anything. And then we kind of, got down Skipbook, and as we're writing Skipbook, it's this is going to change everything. Didn't change anything. And so then I remember at one point in time, it's like we talked about the idea of the turbo tour. And so a video on YouTube, so that would show all of the cool things that are here. And so we finally did that. We made the 65 cool things in 9 minutes. And it's like, okay, now the video's going out. Now everything will change because they'll see how cool it is here. Nothing changed. So.
Hey, this is T. Blankenship. Are you a fan of pie? Where there's pie at Permies.com. This pie grants the user secret access. You also get free things like videos of Wheaton Labs, the ability to add 2 thumbs up to posts, and more. To get pie, go to Permies.com/pie to get the inside scoop of what pie can do for you. Again, that is Permies.com/pie.
I don't know. Now you said a thing, I think it was yesterday, which, I don't know, I found inspiring because to me, I'm looking at all of this and I'm kind of thinking like, the people have voted and they voted pass. They're not pouring out here. It's not like the boot camp is full and there's a waiting list of 200 people and that the cabin rentals are packed and if you want to rent something, it's going to be 3 months or more. Things like that. It's not like that. And so it kind of seems like, my stuff sucks. But, of course, you said a thing that I choose to interpret as especially kind. And you said, it's not that my stuff sucks. It's that it's advanced.
And I am thinking when you say that of Invader Zim, but
yeah, it is Invader Zim. That's very Invader Zim, isn't it?
At that moment is yes. I think that you were ahead of your time, creating these healthy systems based on ways that work permaculture style with the world. It's solving problems. You're an expert problem solver, both in software and in permaculture. And you're looking at this thing and you're saying, this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is how we can solve it. This is a good way to solve it. Let's develop this technology that has good systems. All of its pieces are intended to be good systems that could continue and would help the world and the environment flourish together with humanity. And that is really hard for people to jump into from the current world. Like a lot of people who are ahead of their time, in my opinion, it's both a blessing and a curse. And I wouldn't want to change it because you wouldn't want a system that was half the bad one and half the good one. You'd want to develop the good one so that people can switch over to it. But I think it takes a lot of time and energy to get from, and that's not time and energy, it's people are so connected with the old system that the new system has to sorry, I'm struggling with how to phrase this because I haven't studied it. I don't know the terminology, but
the way people are now, they eat at restaurants, they go to a worky job that gives them a bunch of money so they can eat at the restaurants, they have expenses that are normal expenses, and they have put a lot of their brain power into how to optimize the way that they live their life. They have slowly whittled things to in such a way that they might actually be getting out of debt and starting to put aside a little bit of a grub stake. They are hyper focused on optimizing their city life.
Yes, or even country life. And you end up, so the people who are good at taking on obligations, who are responsible and eager to get things done, often start taking on those responsibilities early, as soon as they can, maybe age 15, like younger. They start getting, like they're caring for siblings or parents. They're starting up they're taking lead roles in organizations or starting up small businesses or just being sort of the anchor point of their family. And they can't take time off from that. They don't switch out. They maybe never break out of that because they know people are depending on them and they're good at it. So some of those people have the skill set that would be really great helping to build up these new systems, but they can't break themselves out of it because they're so in the former systems, and there's no road that leads between the two. You have to fall off a cliff.
It's very much a leap, and I think I know about this leap probably more than most because I made the leap. And but at the same time, I was sure that when I was making this leap, this kind of sensation of if you build it, they will come. And I built it, and they didn't come. And I thought there would be so much life and activity here that it would, we would need to optimize our systems to manage all these human beings being so very human. And as is, I do think we've optimized our systems to manage human beings being very human, but it's like, it's designed for more. And so to have, there's today we have 9 people here? And it's kind of like, I thought we'd have more like 30, this time of year, September.
Yeah. The weather's gorgeous right now. It's wonderful.
There's the sun, and, I'm sure you can all, I've been listening to this, you can feel the sun, I'm sure. Right?
Oh, yeah. They can feel the sun. It's really nice and warm. It's a good temperature. Gosh, it's probably in the low 70s.
I heard a rumor this is the same sun that they have in Hawaii. I could be wrong.
It may be several minutes different. No, not that far. It's the same ocean, but you'd never believe it. I think people also, living in our American society is really tough, and people have systems that they lean on to make that feel better. So maybe they go to a bar, and maybe they smoke cigarettes, and maybe they do some of the things that we are not allowed here.
True.
And
I think 99.4% of the people listening to this podcast right now are going to not come simply because they're going to be respectful of our values, which is, no pot, no tobacco.
Yeah.
No vapes.
Yeah. And no getting, drunk and rolling around on the ground.
Oh.
You allowed to get drunk and roll around on the ground? Well, maybe I shouldn't open that can of worms. Never mind.
There have been many times I've been tempted to put the kibosh on hooch entirely, because now I haven't had any alcohol for several years myself, but and I also believe we haven't had any drunken problems for, I'm going to guess, 7 or 8 years.
So it seems like if you had organic alcohol and you didn't just roll around on the ground, if you behave yourself, then that might be fine, but not guaranteed.
I would say that the problem where the alcohol's been a problem has been when somebody's like, these people are awesome and I want to reward them, not with Huckleberry Pie, but with several boxes of hooch I went and bought at the hooch store.
That's a nice thought.
And I'm going to share it with people. And the problem that pops up is that there's somebody who probably should never have any, or probably should have, like the price point is limiting their intake already, and so because there's infinite free hooch, next thing you know,
that might be a learning curve that they're not.
Awful happens. And so, but I kind of feel like, and so I read something somewhere that said that Wheaton Labs must be terrible because there are people that used to be there that aren't there anymore. But I kind of feel like, well, there are people that have been here for like Fred's been here 9 years now, and but so there are people that are here that have been here a long time. But if you go to a McDonald's, those are people that are paid to be there. How many of those people have been there more than 3 months? Probably not very many.
Maybe the managers, but I mean, just because it's natural. In a lot of places, you get turnover because people's lives are like that. we're not made to stay at the same job forever and then retire. That's not how things go. Even the very best jobs, people go from job to job. Even the very best places to live.
It used to be that you would go to a job and be there for all of your worky life.
Yes. Yeah, that used to be the way, but it hasn't been in my lifetime, certainly. And so that's I don't think that's a good way to say, like, oh, they're not there because they don't stay. I was like, well, that's not holding up to criticism. But I do think people need to feel safe coming out here, and it's sometimes hard to tell if you're just listening to podcasts or just watching a YouTube, because there's marketing, and we're all exposed to a lot of marketing, and to know, like, is it really okay for me to go? Am I really going to have a fine experience? Is it what it looks like? And without knowing somebody who went, or I could tell you this has been a great experience. You should absolutely come out if it sounds like your cup of tea.
Well, you're back from,
I am.
And you have to come from Hawaii.
Yes.
So it's a long haul.
We do visit family on the mainland. Anyway, so that helps it. That helps it be more economical.
A twofer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But every year I'd like to come out. That would be awesome. I can't always swing it because getting away from my other obligations is a challenge. But I would love to. That's awesome. This is what I want to fuel in my life. You have to feed the things you want more of. You have to find a way to feed them if you want them to become more. And this is a way to do it. If you love the stuff on Permies, if you love the podcasts, if you love the videos, you can come out here and fuel those things. Seeing them and being around people who know so much can add fertilizer to that garden of your life.
So, all right. The topic is the Red Cabin is $250 for a week.
Yeah.
And at least right now, so maybe somebody's going to listen to this podcast 5 years later and we change the price. We reserve the right.
Solid gold, and now it's more. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, we have modified. I mean, that building was here when we got here, and we have modified it a lot to be closer to our standards. I think it's. It still looks like a red shed on the outside, which is what it was originally when we got here. But on the inside, I think it looks, 20 times more handsome than when we arrived. And I'm very excited about the experiments that have happened there over the years with rocket mass heater stuff. And I'm very excited about the experiments that will happen this up and coming winter. With the changes that we've made recently, which we will be finishing here in a few weeks. So, I have weird feels about, like, I've worked so hard for so long to do a thing, and I thought it would be packed, and it's not. And you're right, people are very connected to the way that their life is right now, and it's difficult to step away. It's difficult to understand the value of what we're doing. When you're sitting in a city, doing a worky job, eating out a couple of times a week, trying to be organic, and maybe you have a little bit of a garden, it's difficult to contemplate this. It's difficult to contemplate coming over here and even trying it for a week. And I kind of feel like the trying it for a week thing is what I'm hoping more people will do. And we kind of set up the theme week, and we also set up the ringer system. So we have a ringer arriving next week. Jennifer, she is an expert in teaching people about electricity and plumbing and appliances, and she'll be here for 2 weeks, and it kind of seems like this is a great time, and she loves the idea of teaching people these things. She's a powerhouse in this space. Then after that is Rocket Week, and Fred's going to be our ringer that week, because Fred has amazing skills at finishing cob layers. Wow. And so that's going to be where a lot of the time is going to be spent. But for each of those things, we've got nobody signed up, and so it'll just be the boots in the boot camp, and that are just been here a while. That'll be it. And then we also kind of put out some stuff about some other themed weeks, Wafati Week and Roundwood Timber Framing Week, and then we also put out some stuff about Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I think it would be cool to have a bunch of people here renting cabins like during Christmas.
Yeah, and people often get vacation during Christmas. And that would be... I'm super curious. If you're a pod person and you don't normally go on Permies.com because you're not necessarily a forum person, I'm curious to know of the audience here who really wish they could come out but have seen some sort of logistical hurdle. What would help you come out? I would be curious if you go onto Permies just for like half an hour and write up what would help you come out here more easily. What would make it possible, if you know. That I would be so curious to know what people say.
Okay. I just kind of feel like, I don't know, I feel like we've done so much over all these years already, and a lot of times, I don't know if it's a direct response to what people have said, but it's more like, oh, well, it's challenging for somebody to stay at the lab if they don't have water, and so now there's water.
Yeah.
And it's challenging, without a bunk and without it being heated.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, lots of bunks and plenty of heat.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the boots harvest the firewood and stack it up, so that way when you get there, there's already firewood there.
Yeah.
And the boots currently have been doing a pretty good job. Like before you arrived, I know that they went in there and they started the fire in there.
They did. It was so nice and warm. They got it all ready. It was lovely. And it's beautiful in there.
So I just kind of feel like, and then of course when people are here as a sepper, so they're renting a cabin, they can join the boot camp for as much as little as they want. It used to be years ago we would get a couple arriving a lot, like it would probably be like 4 or 5 times a year that a couple would arrive. One of them wanted to be in the boot camp full time, but since they're a sepper, they could take half a day off wherever they want. They could take all the time off that they want. And then the other member of the couple would generally do their worky job or their work on their class stuff or something like that, and then they might join the boot camp for a chunk here or there.
Yeah, I think that the spouse would need the Wi-Fi. Like, I'm sure definitely going to have Wi-Fi for this. They'd have to just be like, can this logistically work for me?
Right.
That sounds lovely. And it seems like it's a gorgeous place to be. There's views. It's just really beautiful out here. It's a great place to take sort of a working vacation. If you were the spouse, like the tag-along spouse in this case.
Right.
That would be lovely.
Right. So, I don't know. I guess another alternate function of this podcast is we've done all this work, and I am attempting to solve global problems. And in order to solve global problems, then it's like, okay, I got to at least do these things myself. So I think that community, to have community, and there's many, many flavors of it, but to have community, that alone reduces your environmental footprint to half, maybe even less than half, with just community. But of course, Americans are kind of programmed to not do community. And we were kind of talking about that the other day too, and I think that's a big part of it. But setting that aside for just a moment, and even though I've got like lots to say about that, then there's things about heat. There's an enormous environmental footprint with how we choose to heat ourselves. Natural gas, of course, many people are familiar with those disasters. And just if you look at the carbon footprint of it, natural gas has a carbon footprint of 20 tons per year on average in Montana, whereas baseboard heat is 29.4 tons. Using mini splits is, I think it's 20.4 tons. And then if you use an in-ground heat pump, then I think it's somewhere around 10 tons, if I remember correctly. Whereas a smoky, gross, disgusting, environmentally polluting wood stove is going to have a carbon footprint of 4 tons, and that carbon is coming from the natural carbon cycle. And if they're burning wood that would otherwise be burnt in a wildfire or as part of wildfire mitigation, then I would argue that their carbon footprint is actually 0, and that the smoke that they're spewing out is actually probably less than the amount of smoke that gets spewed out as part of the wildfire or the wildfire mitigation. But I kind of feel like being here as a boot. So if the average carbon footprint for an American adult is 30 tons per year, I kind of feel like here, depending on the boot and depending on what they do, it's somewhere between 2 and -10. And so, whereas so many people that are keen on this stuff, they're like, I'm doing so many things. They went from 30 tons to 29 tons. Now, granted, mitigating 1 ton of carbon footprint is a big leap. And if you buy a Tesla or some kind of electric car, then that's going to be a savings of 2 tons per year. But then for a rocket mass heater, which, by the way, a rocket mass heater has a carbon footprint of 0.4 tons, then we've potentially gone from 29.4 tons to 0.4 tons, and that's a far bigger leap than switching to an electric car. But the way that we do things here is different, but we're doing it, and we're living it. And then people could come and experience it. Now, here you are. I would have to say that I'm going to guess that the way that you are living here, and you've been here for 3 or 4 days now.
Yeah.
And so the way that you are living here now isn't too different from the way that you would live in Hawaii.
Well, not too different. You don't have a lot of heating concerns in Hawaii most of the time. Depending. Okay. Hawaii has a lot of places and warm places. There's a lot of ecosystems. But we eat almost all organic while we're there. We try to conserve. We have an electric car, 10 out of 10. I love it. And we recycle, and we do as much as we can. We have big gardens. We plant trees. We try to be really eco, but at the same time, we're still part of this old system, these broken systems. And at any even trivial examination can see that these inputs and outputs are causing severe damage that is not sustainable. But it's kind of disheartening when you look at that. You're like, oh man, and then you're like, and I don't know the answer. Like I'm not part of some meaningful change that is going to fix everything. And so looking and seeing this gives me so much hope. This space is being innovated in. These solutions are possible. And you can, sometimes you might fund like part of a Kickstarter, or you might send what you can, or you might just participating in the community. It'll add so much to the momentum that it can give you a lot of hope that maybe the systems are broken now and maybe we can't fix them in my lifetime, but if we can put the energy that we can put into fixing it, this is a great way to make systems that can survive and flourish in the future. So it gives me a lot of hope to come out here and be part of it in whatever ways I can. I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky to be able to get myself here for this week because it gives me so much hope. And seeing it in person is so vivid and exciting.
So normally when I record a podcast, I have like a list in front of me of here's the things I want to tick off as I go through the list and talk about. But today I don't have that. We're just out for a walk. It's like let's do a twofer. We'll walk to the caldera, doctor's orders, and on top of that record a podcast. And so because I haven't been putting out enough podcasts lately, and it's like, oh, there's so many topics to still cover. You know what? I should look to see how many downloads there are. I haven't looked in years. Are people, I know there are people that are listening to it because, people comment on the thing. Like, I just listened to this podcast and here's what I have to say. And it's like, so there's some of that. So it's indicating that. And then, then of course people hear and they come here and then they tell me, oh, it's like with that one podcast or that one that you just put out. And it's like, so it's still going out. It's still happening.
Yeah, you love it when they do that, right?
Well,
that's great that they're saying, I listened to the podcast. Well, here's what I think.
It kind of lets me know that somebody's listening to it.
Yeah.
But, okay. the thing is world domination. And it's kind of like, in order to do world domination, then I need to be able to do this stuff myself. And so part of it is to show how easy it is to grow your own food. And it's like, go ahead and grow half your own food. And then if, you know, there's a pinch or whatever, you need it, you can grow 100% of your food. And it's like, so there's that. But what are the problems? How do we really, really, really wrestle the global problems? And it's kind of like, I don't know. I'm putting out things that are not only, I believe, very real solutions compared to what I see everywhere else. But on top of that, this is like, okay, if enough people buy this thing, that gives us some operating capital to get up to speed still. Now, I do think that we're getting to the point that with every passing year, it's easier. So the cost to facilitate the boot camp goes down. But of course, at the same time, the people that are in the boot camp are like, ooh, let's do this expensive project. And so there's been some of that.
Can't blame them for trying. You got to wish high. That's good. But that makes it more challenging.
So I don't know. I feel like there's what I'm hoping to achieve, I think, is very grand, and I've got tons more stuff to talk about and work on and get going and things. I mean, the Wafati projects, those are huge. We've learned so much. There's just, I don't know, there's projects and projects and projects and projects and projects and projects, and I think so many of them are global changing. I think you know, we were kind of talking about getting out of the system and making the leap, breaking from the system and doing something like this, girding it, in fact, right? I mean, basically that's what we're talking about here, is how do you get to be a girt? And it's kind of like, all right, so what does that take? But I think part of it is it's kind of like, okay, transportation. What an important thing. What a thing that everybody wants. But part of the whole GERT packages is that GERT has a truck, a gas-guzzling, big-ass truck. And she puts about 500 miles a year on it. Because she just, not because it's like, oh, I don't have enough money to run my truck, because she does have enough money to run her truck. But it's because I got everything I want right here. I have my community. I have my garden. I have my humble home. I have everything I need right here. I like it here better. I like what I'm doing here more than whatever vacation package you can come up with. That's a big part of girding it. And so I kind of feel like, okay, well, let's make a community of GERTs. And then I think it would be delightful if there was like 100,000 GERT communities across the United States. Wouldn't this... I would guess that 100,000 GERT communities across the United States, just the fact that they exist and there's people who like that and understand that, I think that would be enough to solve most global problems. But that's another thing too, is I keep talking about global problems, and really the thing is like individual stuff, you know? And I do think that there's a lot of people that are going to a worky job, and it is a soul drain to them. They don't care for it. They don't like it. And it's kind of like, okay, what does it take to have a life that is soul building versus soul draining? And I think that's going to change from person to person. But I also kind of think, try this on for size. I think that the SKIP program is huge, because with the SKIP program, I mean, you can get your own place and do it your own way. And I don't know if we've mentioned this in podcasts, but the people that have the highest BBs are being contacted by Otises now.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it begins. But it's like, I guess it's a leap of faith for those folks. They've gone out and they've gotten a couple of hundred BBs, and now they're beginning to visit with the Otises.
It's also kind of a leap of faith, though, to not do it. Like, you imagine, like, oh, should I take this risk or should I not take any risk? But life doesn't come with the option for no risk. Like, you're going to go down one path or the other. So is the path that you might be on now, if you don't like it, taking that more just because it's safe doesn't necessarily lead to a safe outcome. So it's a risk to take any path. It's good to evaluate the risk that's right in front of you of not having tried the thing that you think might be awesome.
I think true. Everything that's all true. There's risks every direction that you go, and this would be, you gotta. I mean, and some people have done that. They've got their whole life packed up in their rig, and then they come out here and they try it out, and then they're here for a certain amount of time, and they're like, I've decided to do another thing. Been there, done that, and it's like, oh. I kind of thought you might be here like foreverish, but okay, you get to do whatever you want. That's cool. And there's always a story. There's, people, seems like people falling in love with Canadians is a plague.
I think that this is helping to change the world, to show people, like people who come out here for a week or whatever it is, that might change their perspective, and especially about what's possible. And they can take that and take it to other communities and be a seed in the world for being like, no, you can do rack up, like that's a real thing. And you go, oh, look how we did this, like they're doing this cool thing, and maybe someday I'll do it too. And I'll tell you this story. When I went to this cool permaculture Disneyland and I saw these awesome things, and I can tell you about it. So I think it does a lot of good in the world. It doesn't move forward this community becoming larger, but I think it still does a lot of good in the world.
Ernie Wisner was here once for a PDC, and when the PDC started talking about, and this is the one that's recorded, so everybody can look at it, or maybe a lot of people that are listening to these words already saw Ernie say the things, but he basically said, when it comes to community, intentional community, that if you find one that you really like, you can't get in. It's full. And there's a waiting list that's going to take 10 years to process ahead of you. So really, you're never going to get in. And then if you're going to get into a community, you got to get into something where it's new. And so then you join when it's new, and then you're able to be there when it's mature. So I don't know. I feel like we're not exactly. I mean, I like to compare us to the Bullock brothers. They are super cool. I mean, the last time I was out there had to be 15 years ago. And at that time, they were like, I think, 35 years old, something like that. And it was a beautiful and cool property. And I recorded a podcast about how cool and beautiful it was. But I'm kind of thinking like, we're almost to that point. I think we've got a bunch of, I think our gardens are bigger than what they had. I think we're producing more food than they do. I think we've got more bunks. We definitely have more rocket mass heaters. I'm pretty sure we have more rockety things than anybody else in the world.
And you've got kittens. The kittens here are amazing.
Oh, right. We are kind of infested with kittens. Oh, look at that. That one, that's weird. That kitten is saying, I don't want to be touched, that's new for that one. Something must have happened. Some kind of kitten drama went down or something.
It happened yesterday and the day before.
Yeah. I don't know. They all seem to... They've gotten used to me, I guess. Yeah. So, see, this picnic table, I think it's So we're back at the Fisher-Price house, but we've got this picnic table that's rather dreamy.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. There's no fasteners in it at all, and there's no glue or anything. The only thing holding it together is gravity. And somebody said, well, if you sit on the end, it'll pop up. But here I am. I'm sitting on the end. I'm putting all my weight on the top. It's not moving. Oh!
It's never going to pop up. This is massive.
Yeah.
It's not popping up.
Yeah. This is. I like to think that this is a piece of art. So, and now the kitten wants attention, and so I don't know. Is this kitten saying anything? It's the same kitten that didn't want anybody to touch him a second ago, and now he's like, "Oh, come and pet me." All right. I'm trying to change the world for hopefully the better. I want to make lives here better. I'm trying, but the way that I designed it is that I spend my days writing books and making movies and that kind of stuff in order to come up, and then all the other things that I do to try to come up with the funds in order to be able to make it so that we can move forward. And in the meantime, all these other people go and work on all these little projects and make all these cool things. And it becomes more beautiful and more glorious with every passing year.
No.
And it's kind of like, I just thought by now that the cabins would be all full and the boot camp would be full and things like that. So, oh well, here we are. I took the leap, and I'm prepared to live with the consequences of my choices. And I'm just a little bummed. I mean, I do like the word that that my problem, the awful thing that I've done is that I've been too advanced. But I think it's that plus the standards. I think a lot of people, that's a problem. But all right, I don't know. There you go. Anything else to add to this podcast?
Sounds good.
Okay. If you like this sort of thing, come on out to the forums at permies.com, where we talk about community, homesteading, and permaculture all the time.
In a world on the brink of social collapse, one website stands above the rest to fight back the zombie horde of corporate trolls. Permies.com. Take back control of your destiny and protect your loved ones from the toxic gick coming at you from all directions. Strap on your overalls and start building that bunker of abundance with the good vibes and friendly, helpful insight found at Permies.com.